Season 1 of Dexter Resurrection didn't just reset the universe, it rewired it. A new city, new rules. A father and son taking down Leon Prater by dragging him off his own stage. Now Season 2 is creeping closer, and while the concrete details are still scarce, there are some exciting facts that have been revealed. So today we're breaking down everything we know about Dexter Resurrection Season 2 so far. When you think about Dexter, you can't help but hear that iconic opening theme song in your head. That punchy, catchy music paired with the unforgettable visuals makes it one of the most memorable TV openings ever. The way it sneakily blended subtle acts of violence into a super normal morning routine was pure genius. It perfectly illustrated who Dexter was and how he lived as both a killer and an everyday Joe. And although they were beloved opening credits, even winning a Primetime Emmy in 2007, they went away with the inception of Dexter New Blood. In the place of an opening theme, New Blood had a sequence of flashes of the scenes to come in the episode. The theme was brought back and revamped for the prequel, Dexter Original Sin, and it was widely loved, even with the Scooby Bite sound effect included. But Dexter Resurrection had no theme, returning instead to the opening style of New Blood. For many Dexter fans, this flash sequence was almost a spoiler for what was coming in the new episode, and not nearly as satisfying as the original theme. And maybe the people in charge were listening, because Dexter Resurrection Season 2 is bringing back the opening credits we all know and love. It can be expected that it will be refilmed with an older Dexter, but what other changes will be made? The music and imagery of the original opening credits are very reflective of Miami's culture. The style of music, the vibrant color scheme, and scene of him leaving his apartment for the day were all very specific to Dexter's life in Miami. Similarly, for Original Sin, Dexter's in Miami the entire time, and the rework of the opening theme holds true to that. But now, Dexter lives in New York, so the theme should evolve to reflect that, right? The details of the new theme are not yet known, but it is definitely coming back, and it is likely to be reshot to show Dexter's life in New York while holding true to the vision of the original opening credits. Whatever they land on, most people are sure it is going to be fantastic, and we Dexter fans are just excited to see the theme song return after all of these years. That isn't the only thing returning. After Harry's absence in New Blood, his return to Dexter's subconscious in Resurrection was highly anticipated. James Remar was a staple of the original series, and not seeing him as a part of Dexter's inner monologue would have felt wrong if they hadn't plugged Deb in his place. After basically being the cause of his sister Deborah's death at the conclusion of the original series, it made sense that Dexter would be haunted by her memory for years after. She was always an excellent moral guide for Dexter, and with him trying to abstain from killing anymore in New Blood, Deb would be a constant reminder of what happens to innocent people when he embraces his dark passenger. And when Harrison showed up, she was the inner voice that tried to encourage Dexter to shield him from the harsh realities of his double life. It worked for New Blood, but there was still a yearning for Harry from longtime viewers. So it's great to know that he will be back in Season 2. He was equal parts wholesome and protective, which is exactly what Dexter needs to embody as he and Harrison continue to rebuild their relationship in the coming seasons. And James Remar isn't the only one returning. It isn't exactly confirmed just yet, but it's largely believed that Eric Stonestreet will also be back, reprising his role as Al Jolly Walker. Al was part of Leon Prater's serial killer club in the first season, and while Dexter was able to take out everyone else, even Leon himself, Al managed to get away. He fled New York and ditched his phone to avoid being alone with Dexter, correctly predicting that Dexter would kill him if they did meet up. Of course, this was incredibly frustrating for Dexter and the audience because Dexter always gets his target, and Al was as disturbing and deserving as anyone who landed on Dexter's table. Strangling innocent women to death and chopping off their ponytails to keep as trophies is his MO, and he even recorded himself in action to impress Leon and the gang. It's truly horrific to listen to him laugh as he chokes the life out of an unsuspecting jogger, but with that image in his mind, killing Al before he could strike again became a must for Dexter. But of course, Al gave him the slip, and he wasn't seen again for the rest of Season 1. As one of the only people known to have outmaneuvered Dexter, this is a rematch everyone is dying to see. Will he be a one-episode episode blip, or will Dexter's pursuit of him take a while? That part is still unclear. Either way, having Eric Stonestreet back is exciting, and the showdown is sure to have us all on the edge of our seats. Other characters believed to be returning include Dexter's friend and landlord Blessing Kamara, as well as detectives Oliva and Wallace as the hunt for the New York Ripper ramps back up. We know that Dexter exposed Leon Prater's vault to the entire New York Police Department at the end of the first season, and that is where Wallace and Oliva discovered the file Prater had on the New York Ripper, which seemed to include the killer's real name. Wallace was as obsessed with finding the Ripper as Dokes and Maria were with exposing Dexter, so there is no chance that they won't revisit that storyline as the series continues. This is largely why many people are confidently speculating that Detective Wallace will be back in season 2, but we will have to wait for more casting news to roll out to be sure. One of the most reassuring elements of the upcoming second season is the confirmed creative continuity behind the camera, with veteran director Marco Siega returning to lead a major share of the season. It was also announced that the longtime franchise architect Clyde Phillips will once again be guiding the narrative as showrunner. Siega's return will be particularly important to those of us who were attached to the series' original visual tone, the pacing, and atmosphere. He has worked on almost everything Dexter from the original series, New Blood, and the first season of Dexter Resurrection. That means he has helped shape the signature style that we Dexter fans immediately associate with Dexter. You know, that sharp, methodical framing, the subtle suspense building, and unforgettable plot twists that were built up steadily instead of relying on flashy violence or tacky shock value. With Siega back in the saddle again, we can expect the best parts of the show that defined Dexter's Miami and New York eras so well. On top of that, Clyde Phillips re-entering his role as showrunner lets us know that the backbone of the series will be safe heading into season 2 of Resurrection. His relationship with Dexter stretches back to the show's inception. He helped establish the original story and moral gray areas that made Dexter Morgan so compelling in the first place. Phillips' work on Dexter is credited with grounding darkness in emotional purpose, rather than merely making it a macabre spectacle. His decision to continue returning in the franchise lets us relax, knowing that the story is back in capable hands after the controversial end to the original series. Now, continuing into the second season of the revival, Clyde coming back yet again suggests the upcoming story arcs will remain rich, emotionally layered, and character-driven. Together, Siega and Phillips' combined presence will be sure to lock the show into some familiarity, but it will also allow space for the ambitious storytelling we know them for. But the return of some creators isn't as exciting for some fans. You may have guessed it, Scott Buck is coming back as a writer for the second season of Resurrection, and that has generated some immediate controversy among longtime Dexter fans. This is largely because of his work during the original show's most divisive period. Scott Buck served as a showrunner and a writer during seasons 6, 7, and 8 of the original series, and anyone who knows Dexter knows that that portion of the series received very mixed and increasingly critical reactions from fans and critics. Many people felt that the storytelling lost focus, and some of the main characters' behaviors weren't in line with their personalities. During those seasons, it seemed like the show had strayed from the more grounded nature that defined earlier seasons. Season 8 in particular is remembered as the series' most disappointing and polarizing. People complained that it was rushed and filled with forgettable throwaway characters, and most importantly, it had a finale that left many unsatisfied and confused. So for fans who viewed Dexter Resurrection as a chance to course correct after that major letdown, and as something that could really restore the franchise's reputation, Buck's involvement brings with it a fear that the show will repeat old mistakes and lose its luster again. But the decision to bring him back also speaks to a different perspective. Buck's experience with Dexter Morgan is deeper than almost anyone's except Clyde Phillips and Michael C. Hall. With Phillips overseeing the revival's direction, maybe Buck's voice will help enrich the upcoming season without steering the narrative off track. Maybe he will redeem himself in the eyes of fans and really add to the show in a great way. One thing is for sure, his return guarantees that the expectations will be high and the scrutiny will be intense. For now, we will just have to trust the process. It's been officially announced that Dexter Resurrection will return for its second season in October 2026. This marks a defining moment, not only for the revival series, but for the franchise as a whole. After more than a decade of shifting creative directions, seasons, varied audience reactions, and evolving expectations, the decision to release season 2 in October carries a symbolic message that serious fans immediately recognized. If you recall, the original series of Dexter premiered in October 2006 and quickly became one of television's most divisive yet beloved thrillers. Now, 20 years later, choosing to return to that same month feels very intentional. The first season of Resurrection dropped in July of 2025, Original Sin dropped in December of 2024, and Dexter New Blood came out in November 2021. So this return to the month when it all began seems like an obvious nod to the show's legacy and a celebration of its monumental 2-decade milestone. Even across reboots, narrative turns, and creative shifts, the Dexter franchise has endured and apparently isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The major showrunners have also been clear that there will absolutely be a season 3 of Resurrection, and most likely a 4th as well. We will definitely be eating well for a few more years, but it does beg the question, will the October release date become the standard for Resurrection, with seasons 3 and the possible 4 coming out that month as well? I guess we will have to wait and see. Equally noteworthy is the confirmation that season 2 will consist of 10 episodes, matching the length of the first season of Resurrection and the structure of Dexter New Blood as well. In the current era of streaming television, many prestige dramas are shrinking to 8-episode seasons, some even going as low as 6 episodes. This is typically done for a few reasons, like to reduce budgets, compress production windows, or obtain quicker returns from streaming numbers. But there are drawbacks to jamming a storyline as deep and complex as Dexter's into so few episodes. By sticking with 10 episodes, the creators are sending a very clear message to fans and critics alike. It signals confidence in the production as well as a deep commitment to getting the story right. It also highlights the stability of the franchise. This move shows that no one is tired of watching Dexter do his thing, and the creators know it. As it currently stands, most people want more episodes of Dexter, not fewer, and the showrunners are happy to oblige. There is no reason to assume the core audience won't be tuning in for every episode, so why decrease how many there are? Most importantly, by locking in 10 guaranteed episodes, they show their deep respect for the storytelling that made Dexter a cultural phenomenon in the first place. Dexter has long-form story arcs that let tension simmer and build, while important character development unfolds organically along the way. These elements have been vital to the franchise, and all of the best seasons of the series reflect that. Just think about the original series. The stories of people like Arthur Mitchell, Joey Quinn, Miguel Prado, Camilla Fig, and more all provided anticipation through a slow burn sort of effect. Who they really were and how they would evolve was revealed over multiple episodes, sometimes even multiple seasons. Shorter seasons might have left narratives unfinished, accelerated, or even completely abandoned. I'm still looking at you, Game of Thrones. And that definitely wouldn't work for Resurrection, especially given the growing complexity surrounding Dexter's new relationships and the stories of the people around him. Instead, this number of episodes means that the writers will have room to introduce, escalate, and fully flesh out the plot and the characters, the most important aspects of the show. For shows that are built on slow rising dread, psychological suspense, and require the audience to identify with the characters in a real way, 10 episodes should be the standard. So this announcement was well received. Me personally, I'd be glad with 20 episodes, but what are you gonna do? Choosing October also puts the premiere right near Halloween night, a very smart marketing choice given the show's dark tones and gory elements. We will enter season 2 with heightened anticipation, thanks to the ongoing nostalgia as well as the captivation with the new storylines. Ultimately, the announcement honors the show's origins while boldly asserting its relevance today. By returning in October, returning at full length, and keeping the series going even 20 years after the story began, the series is reminding everyone of just how impactful the show has been, and there's no doubt season 2 of Resurrection will only further prove that point. What do you think the upcoming season of Resurrection is going to include? Drop a comment with any news or announcements we missed, and if you like this breakdown, check out our video covering every major fan theory for Dexter Resurrection season 2. Remember to slash that subscribe button while you have the chance, and as always, thanks for watching.